If you're confused on which banner to pull on the release of Honkai Star Rail, then this video will give you some insights on what characters' pros and cons in the banner. Disclaimer: this info is from the beta and I heard a lot of characters will be changed in the release, so take this video with a grain of salt, and everyone is free to pull whoever they want, and this video is for those people who wants to be efficient and optimized. With that being said, let's talk about the first banner, which has Seele, Natasha, Hook, and Pela. Seele is the best single target DPS in the game. Her base stat is very good with great attack and the highest base speed in the game, and added to that, she has her own speed buff, high multiplier, increased damage buff, extra turn or follow-up attack, quantum penetration, self-action push, and belongs to the rare element of quantum. The only downside of her is that she is quite skill point hungry, because to deal damage you want to use her skill instead of basic attack, but unless you want to be stuck using JingYuan as your quantum DPS, Seele is your best choice. Natasha is a free character that you will get from the story. She's a decent healer with decent base HP, decent multipliers, continuous healing, which means heals every time you take a turn, dispel debuff, and attack down. There's no apparent weakness to her from my experience, since she's a free healer, so if you want to make her stronger, I would recommend E2 for the AoE continuous heal. Hook is a great fire DPS unit who is very tanky, have great multiplier, a lot of burn DOT, self-heal, resistance to crowd control, self-action push, and extra energy. The only downside to her is that she is really slow, so it is hard for her to take a turn, and if you have Himiko, I think she's a better option than Hook by a margin. The last one is Pela. She's the only character I believe that can reduce the defense of enemies. She has a great base speed stat, strip buff, extra energy, extra damage, and effect hit rate buff for the team. She seems like a great unit for the late game, but I don't think she shines that well on early game, since her defense break will scale better early on. And if you want her Eidolons, I would recommend E4, since that will give you a huge boost to support the team. If you're still watching the video, a reminder to hit the like and subscribe button, and with that we're going to talk about the second banner, which has JingYuan, Sushang, March 7, and TingYun. JingYuan is the best AoE DPS in the game, with high base attack, a lot of buffs to the Lightning Lord, extra energy, self-crit buff, and especially the fact that the Lightning Lord will keep doing attack unconditionally, unlike Himeko or Herta, makes him quite the unstoppable DPS who just keeps doing damage. I don't think there's any weakness to him other than being a skill point hungry by the looks of it. Sushang is the best 4-star DPS, almost as strong as the other 5 stars. With high base speed, self-speed buff, additional damage, increased damage, and self-action push, from my experience, I don't think she has a major weakness other than being, again, skill point hungry like Seele. But if you get a copy of her to E1, that will not be a problem. March 7 is another free character you get with decent stats, shield, taunt, dispel, and can freeze all the enemies. Her weakness, I would say that she only shield one unit, unlike the Fire MC, and her shield doesn't scale that well on early game. But if you want a copy of her, I would recommend to get E4 at minimum, but E6 optimally. Lastly, we have TingYun, which is personally my favorite unit, with high base speed, attack buff, damage buff, extra energy for the team, self-speed buff, and additional damage. The only complaint I have with her is that she is quite squishy and doesn't do a lot of damage, and if you want copies of her, I would recommend to get E1 or E4. And that's the video of today. I hope this will help you decide on which banner to pull, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.